and I turn it over to the master flirt.
Right. Which oddly, we're talking about cougars.
Yes.
To this kind
We're talking about the cougar.
Yes.
talking about cougars, and then we go into this discussion.
Why not? Yeah, we were talking earlier this morning. We saw on Yahoo they had one of these relationship experts that
from Men's Health.
Yeah, from Men's Health.
Of
That
course,
was saying
from Men's Health.
Men's Health, making the argument that flirting is often something that people are uncomfortable with, and different people in a relationship, one of the two, could have more comfort with it. But he was saying that flirting can actually be a healthy thing for a relationship. That if you do it, in the right way, there we go. And that's Brad flirting with Michelle. That it can be a good thing for your relationship because it kind of keeps you. Ooh, look at that! I can't even focus on what I'm saying anymore. That it keeps the relationship kind of alive and peppy.
Oh, this is priceless. Brad.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know that it's so effective for Brad.
For Brad.
It's not. It's not necessarily.
They're saying that it helps the man's ego somewhat, and it also says that you're actually a little bit more confident in the relationship.
Yeah. I will admit, when I first heard this, I'm like, come on, it's going to hurt a relationship. But after I read the article, I got to give him some credit. It makes sense because it's basically saying there is this inherent need for all of us to be wanted. And once we get into a relationship, it gets stagnant. We get used to the sleep in on Sundays and the pizza on Fridays. And so when you flirt with someone, you're just keeping your game sharp.
Right.
And I think is there such thing as harmless flirting? Some say yes, there is. Some say there's not. And I just think that if your spouse says, listen, you need to stop doing that crap, then obviously that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do too with how your spouse responds to it. If your spouse is somebody that is jealous and or just doesn't thinks it's inappropriate, then you shouldn't do it because you should have respect for your spouse. But some people are fine with being flirtatious people, both of them in the relationship, and they're fine with them flirting with other people.
Yeah, and I think when you get to in a relationship, when you start talking about other people, it's like, God, she looks good. Talking about Angelina Jolie or something like that. Like my wife and I actually, she asked me, who do you think has a better body, Angelina Jolie or Sarah Jessica Parker? I think I go, Angelina Jolie.
But you know what, though? You bring up an interesting point because there's always that point in a new relationship where that comment comes up and you sort of have to kind of gauge where you are with one another. If you can say those things.
And I think that goes on to the next stage. I think it's a good point.
Well, let us know what you think. Go to our website, dailybuzz.tv. Does flirting help or hurt your relationship?